Guys, welcome back to yet another video. Today we are here with a bit of draft analysis. I did promise that we would be doing this basically weekly. This first one's going to be a little bit different just because we got to go through all the draft picks first and then my counter picks to who I'm playing week 1, which is actually the Corn Cobs. The week 1 match, all the week 1 matches I think should be live in the next video, but for this video, what we're going to be doing is going through each and every single one of the draft picks and my take on what exactly is going on. So starting off, again, Soul Survivor Summer 2020 Draft League, we got ourselves a couple of interesting things. The Milwaukee Saucebucks are now named we'll start from the top. They're now named the South Wisconsin Spindas, which is kind of a cool name. I like their logo too. But, again, like we said in the previous video, going through the information, we got a total of 10 Pokemon, 2 from OU, 2 from UU, 2 from RU, 2 from NU, 2 from PU, and yeah, so let's go by each pick and see what exactly is going on with this. Starting off, looking at the big picture on this one, we see that the South Wisconsin Spindas really built a rain-based team, it seems like. I know Cobalion gets Rain Dance. Dracovish, really good in the rain. So is Inteleon, Dry Skin on Toxicroak, your Drizzlemon, of course. But you can only bring one of them. So they have a choice. They can either bring the Pelipper or the Dracovish, which I guess is pretty good for me. I wasn't too sure about these two in the back. This one benefits off of Thunder, so it can run, I think it has Tinted Lens over Compound Eyes, but these two are the big ones. I was really confused on why they actually picked Flapple and Gourgeist. Don't get me wrong, Gourgeist is not a bad Pokemon by any means. They got themselves a pretty thick Mon depending on which form they bring, and Will-O-Wisp, Shadow Sneak, Leech Seed, Power Whip, those are all great moves. This is a bit interesting. I noticed that we don't really have that many ice types flying around. There's a lot of ice capability, but ice types themselves, not really. So, I guess this could be a potential sweeper. I really don't see them bringing it anytime soon. Next up, we got ourselves the setter. We got a setter right here in Galvantula. Galvantula is a great Websmon, and it could actually put out damage because it is pretty fast up there. So we'll see how that goes. I'm assuming they're going to be bringing that just about every single time against fast teams. Like, look at these. 1, 2, this doesn't really get affected by it. Or heavy duty boots, it doesn't really get affected by it. But I would bring this against a good number of teams. Maybe not in this matchup, actually, because a lot of the Pokemon picked are kind of slower. There are a couple, like mine, which are pretty fast, but it's situational. Next up, we got Cobalion. It could be a Rain Setter. I know I'm going in backwards order, but it could be a Rain Setter. It also hits pretty hard. I think it gets access to Stealth Rocks. I don't know, but Swords Dance is a threat. If someone tries to go knock off on it, it gets a +1 from Justified. Overall, pretty good Mon. Iron Head, solid choice, close combat. Pelipper, slow U-turn with Drizzle is always so nice. And Pelipper's not bad either. It could come in with a Damp Rock, set up Rain for 8 turns, help the rest of the team, and then slow U-turn out. Maybe if you want to do a little bit of damage, throw on some leftovers, have it a little bit bulky, and then throw maybe Hurricane or Scald for the burn. Who knows? This is an interesting one as well. Balings you don't see too much, but it is in PU. Kind of a given. Phalanx could be good with No Retreat. Maybe First Impression. No Retreat is very situational, so we'll have to see there, but it does become a monster after that. Toxicroak was a good choice. Toxicroak with Dry Skin really does benefit in the rain. What does it have? A Psychic and a Flying weakness? That's about it, and it carries some pretty good movesets. Ideally, it's physical, but it could also be special, which is nice. Inteleon, I feel like after this has been recorded, Inteleon's going to be banned from a certain tier. I may be wrong, maybe right, who knows. certain tier being RU. Inteleon's just a great Pokemon. Give it Specs and just starts popping things left and right. Snipe Shot or Hydro Pump with Rain. That's going to hurt a lot. Chandelure was an interesting one for a Rain team. I guess it is a good ghost counter. There's some of the stuff like, I don't know, maybe Dragapult or Hatterene, potentially? I was kind of confused on that pick, but oh well, it's a great Will-O-Wisp. It could be a Trick Pokemon as well. Trick Choice Scarf is always a thing. Could be great for that. We'll have to see exactly how this one goes. This is an interesting pick by far. I'm kind of curious to see what is exactly going on here. Draco Vish. It's the Vish. Like, it really just hits so hard. There's not much to say about here. You got Vicious Rend, you got Crunch, you got Psychic Fangs, you got Outrage. This thing's going to be hitting like a truck. If it's not Scarfed or Banded, I'm going to be so surprised. But next up is my team, the Anastar City Breakers. I drafted Dragapult to be a pretty good like U-turn Pokemon. It's a very versatile Pokemon. It doesn't have that many defenses, but it does have access to Infiltrator, so Sub's not really a problem, and it could be physical or special, thanks to Dragon Darts, thanks to Draco Meteor. I'm not sure if it gets Outrage, but it does have that nice split, which could throw people off. Next up, we got Incineroar. Incineroar being a very nice Intimidate Pokemon. Throw a Scarf on it, and it does outspeed a decent amount of things. If you want to ban, you can start hitting hard. Assault Vest is also nice on it. So I was like, you know what? Break him physically, especially with Assault Vest, and just start popping things. Fake Out's always a good set. Get some chip damage, and then maybe Darkest Lariat, if you decide to go the Assault Vest route, or Flare Blitz. Vaporeon, I chose Vaporeon to be a big counter to Draco Vish. If they bring Draco Vish against me, if they bring Draco Vish against me, Water Absorb Vaporeon's 100% going to be on my team. Following that, Cofagrigus. Cofagrigus is a very physically tanky Pokemon, which I really needed. It has access to Body Slam, Toxic Spikes, Will-O-Wisp. So this is like my really slow, tanky Pokemon to just knock people down. Crustle, Sturdy Shell Smash. There's not much to say there. It's kind of like, as long as they don't have priority, I can set up and just start popping things with Crustle. I usually put a little bit of speed on Crustle, but it's really situational depending on what they have. A lot of Pokemon here have priority, but in the right situationals, Crustle can be great typing. Water, or Bug, Rock. It's weak to Rock, it's weak to Water. That's essentially it, I think. And it has a decent move pool. I don't like Stone Edge, so I usually run with Rock Slide or Rock Blast. Stone Miss is going to be the death of me. Next up, Zorora, another pivot Pokemon. I like having pivot Pokemon in here, no matter what they are. So while I thought Dragapult was a physical switcher, I was like, you know what, let me get a Volt switcher in here as well. A fast Pokemon. I'm going to save my fast, strong Pokemon for OU and have all my tanky ones be a little bit lower. But this, again, could be Volt Switch, it could be Banded, it could be Assault Vested, which I think I'm going to bring against the first match. We'll have to see. I think it's going to be Assault Vest Volt Switch, though, depending on the team, or depending on the lineup. I built a team already, but we'll see. Corsola, Galarian Corsola is thick. It is a tank. It is a monster. You give it Stealth Rocks, you give it Will-O-Wisp, though I usually interchange those, but it just eats up hits. Give it an Eviolite. My set's I'm actually going to show it to you later. I just added it this morning. Amnesia. Put some all physical investment in there, give it a little bit of special, and then start Amnesiaing up. This thing's not dying. It has access to Strength Sap as well. Not dying. Next up, we got Silvally. Silvally was a nice choice because in this league, Silvally can be any type I want. So, I can mess around with my opponent and be like, oh yeah, you know what? I see you have Carkol, I see you have more fire types, hypothetically. I'm going to bring a water type Silvally. I actually did against the fire type team, but that's what I'm bringing, at least against this last team over here. But again, it's very nice. It could be a pivot, it could be an offensive tank. It gets Explosion, normal gem, like what more can you ask for? A very diverse Pokemon. I was really happy to get it for a pick. Galarian Rapidash I wasn't really too happy about. I really needed another physically offensive Pokemon because a lot of my Pokemon ended up being walls. Like 1, 2, 3. So I chose Galarian Rapidash to kind of round out my Psychic and Fairy typing, even though Silvally can be both. This has a decent moveset, gets access to Wild Charge and stuff like that, but it's not bulky at all. So it's just in there to nuke and then leave. Blossom. This was an interesting choice. I was like, I don't know what to pick for PU. I really didn't plan for PU that well. Blossom came into play when it took down a Zekrom and a Ho-Oh for me in random battles. It's a great Quiver Dancer. It has stupidly high physical defense for some odd reason. Gets access to Strength Sap, Sleep Powder, Giga Drain. Not Weather Ball, unfortunately, which I learned after drafting it. But you know what? It do be like that. It's a pretty good mon, and I hope it comes far. I'm bringing it in the first match again. I'm actually kind of curious to see what kind of work it's going to put in. Next up, we got The Walls. They actually have a new logo, so definitely check that out. It's been updated since the first video. They got Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr's a tank, man. That thing is so strong. Give it Guts, give it Sheer Force, Life Orb. That's going to hurt. Mach Punch, Drain Punch. Its move pool's not too big, but it does hit very, very hard, and it comes with priority. Kind of why I packed Ghost types. I was like, you know what? I'm not getting hit with any Mach Punches. I don't want to really be hit with priority or normal type moves, which kind of covers the third Pokemon, Snorlax, pretty well. Body Slams usually run on Snorlax. I know the Walls usually run like Stockpile or things that make it just so thickly. Rotom Wash, I kind of wanted for myself, but I'm glad I didn't pick it up. Just because, well, actually, do I have a counter for Rotom Wash? Bellossom kinda, but this thing has always been a threat. Water Electric is a great typing, especially with Levitate, just because it does not have a ground weakness. It's just grass, and that's it. And its move pool's pretty good. You got Hydro Pump, Thunderbolt, Will-O-Wisp. It's pretty good out there. Curse was an interesting one. I wasn't too sure about this one. It's a great special wall, don't get me wrong. You could pressure people with Cursed Body? The one that activates Perish Song on your opponent and yourself. You could pressure people with that. But I'm curious to see what it is, because this physical bulk isn't too much. Incineroar's Darkness Lariat is going to kill it. Maybe a knockoff from like Malamar is going to kill it. Appleton. Appleton is a great Pokemon. I use it all the time. It could be a screen setter. It is so thick with thick fat. So thick. Like surprisingly thick. And it looks delicious. Like, why would you not get it? I was kind of thinking about Appleton too, but they took it, so oh well. Leech Seed, Giga Drain, screens. Toxic if you want to stall someone. It gets access to Recover too, and Apple Acid lowers Spadef. Not a bad pick. This thing's a threat. Thankfully, they can't bring that and Conkeldurr in the same match, but Libero with Band or Libero with Expert Belt, and a lot of things here die. Gunk Shot, Pyro Ball. The only thing we could really hope for is accuracy. Its accuracy isn't great on Gunk Shot or Pyro Ball. High Jump Kick, okay. You know, I might pack Protect against this thing. Yeah, I might pack Protect against this. But it very, very strong mon. Fast mon, hits hard, no defense. Ditto's another thing. If they play that correctly, it could be great. It prevents walls like Clefable from setting up, because you could just constantly swap in on a Calm Mind Store Power set or something like that. Cosmic Power, Stored Power, sorry. And just constantly swap out Soft Boil to heal up, and yeah, it just dies to PP stall. Next up, Excelgor. Another one I wasn't really sure about, but Excelgor is, I guess, a nice fast setter. It doesn't have any bulk, unfortunately, but you can get spikes, you can get Yawn, Toxic Spikes. Excelgor's pretty good for that, and hits decently hard. Not bad. Ninjask, kind of the same thing. I wasn't sure about Ninjask. It's not that strong. Maybe if you get Sword Stance. Does it get Baton Pass? I want to say it does. But you can do some interesting stuff with Ninjask. Lapras is a nice tanky mon with Thunderbolt, Sparkling Aria, Blizzard. You got a lot of nice options with Lapras, especially considering it's kind of thick. But following that up, we got Team Pokeking Nothing. This is one team I'm actually terrified of, just because the two players, I'm drawing a blank. Why? Kuriboh and Instruct have a similar playstyle. They know what's up. And it's kind of scary. It looks like, to me, right off the back, Rain Team. Random assortment, thick, hit hard, and stupid fast for some odd reason. For some of them. And then this one seems like a Trick Room set. This one seems like a Trick Room team. If any team is going to be a Trick Room team, this is it. You got Hatterene, very, very bulky. Hits decently hard as well. Bronzong can take hits. If it's Levitate, it won't be dying anytime soon. Can't status it with Toxic. Gastrodon, that's a great answer to Dracovish. Again, very tanky. Can actually do out some decent damage, and you got Recover. Oh gosh, this team's looking more and more disgusting even if I'm going through it. Berserker actually hits pretty hard. It's not that fast, it dies to like a Fire Blast or something like that, but it does hit pretty hard. Especially with Steely Spirit. Pretty hard. Dusclops. You can do some crazy things with Dusclops. Its HP stat is non-existent, but given an Eeviola and it lives practically forever, especially with Pain Split. This is terrifying. Clefable for OU. I'm expecting some Cosmic Power, some Stored Power, some Calm Mind, just slow teleport shenanigans out of this thing. It's going to be disgusting. Pangoro, I wasn't sure about. Pangoro could be really strong with the Choice Band, and its move pool is pretty good. It gets Ice Punch, it gets Darkest Lariat, it gets... Does it get Darkest? Yeah. It gets Drain Punch, Parting Shot. A lot of things you could do with this thing. We got Colossal, which I haven't really messed around with. I guess it could work if you give it a Air Balloon to prevent Earthquake right off the back. But I'm not really sure what else it would run. I know it's Rocks, it gets Spikes, it gets Rapid Spin. It hits decently hard, but I'm not sure how hard. That's something to watch out for. Drampa's something. You could Glare, you can run Specs. It's actually decently thick, and Berserk gives it a pretty good special attack boost. One stage, but one stage is sometimes all that matters. Sap Sipper. Oh yeah, Sap Sipper might be something to watch out for. And then Vibrava. I don't know what they're going to do with the Vibrava. Maybe Eviolite that as well, but I haven't really seen Vibrava in play. I guess it's something else where we're going to have to wait and see what exactly happens. But, moving on, we got ourselves a Team Temmie. Team Temmie is another team I have not seen play at all, so I don't know what exactly is going to go on here. They packed a lot of Dragon types. By a lot, I mean 2. We are looking at a Hydreigon, which could, again, be a lot of things. So many things. It could be Specs, it could be Leftovers, it could be White Herb. I've actually seen White Herb Draco Meteor before. Who knew? Next up we got Flygon. Flygon's a good Dragon Dancer. Could be Scarfed. Lumberry. I don't really see Lumberry on Flygon anymore. Scarfed is usually what I see with like Fire Punch or something to counter Ice types. This one's an interesting one. I haven't really seen too much success with the elephant thing. I can't remember what it's called. I don't know. The what's it called? Lego looking elephant, whatever it is. No, I know this name. It starts with a C. I don't know it. Whatever this is, I haven't seen too much success. It does hit relatively hard if you play it right. It gets Heat Crash, it gets Heavy Metal, I think. Fent. Fent is this is gonna kill me. But it does hit pretty hard. Heavy Slam. Give it a band, it will hit hard, but again, its defenses aren't the best, so I'm kinda scared to see what they're gonna do with it. Before I say anything else, I'm gonna say this team, like my team, doesn't really seem like it has any synergy. But that's kind of what scares me. I don't know what they're going to pull out. Usually you can see what other people are going to be doing. Rain. We're going to see Trick Room. We're going to see Setup Stall. And then hit hard when you're not looking. We're going to see Sun, you know? But this one doesn't really seem like that. Which kind of throws me off. We got Malamar. Malamar is a good setter. It could go Superpower, Rest. This is why I also packed Blossom for a very special move. Moonblast is going to hit this thing hard. Any bug type is going to hit this thing hard. You just have to watch out so it does not set up too much. That's going to be the main thing. If it starts setting up and you don't take care of it, it will sweep you. Pikachu hat, though, oh, those are going to be interesting. They hit hard with Light Ball, as always. They got a huge move pool, Surf, Grass Knot, Volt Tackle, Volt Switch. Let's get Iron Tail. It's going to be interesting to see what they pull out with that. Bisharp. Bisharp's one that scares me, just because of Defiant. If anyone tries to set up webs or something on this thing, that's a Defiant Sucker Punch straight to the face, +2 Sucker Punch straight to the face. That is going to hurt. +2? Yeah, I think it's +2. Yeah, Intimidate as well. If I send out my Incineroar on this thing, it's going +1. Let's see. This is another good web setter. I love Araquanid. Araquanid is a very, very bulky mon that actually can hit back and get some HP recovery off of Leash Life and stuff like that. I'm interested to see what they're going to do besides keeping it as a, like, webs, a liquidation set, maybe Mirror Coat, who knows? Beware is another thing that hits hard. It's not that fast, which I've noticed about a lot of his team. This thing can be fast. It's decently fast. Stupid fast, but other than that, not really. You know? What else do we got? But it can hit really hard, and Fluffy is a great ability. I don't know what other abilities it gets, but Fluffy, getting your physical defense way up there, it's always so nice. Sandaconda, what is this thing called? This elephant? I don't know. Roblox looking elephant. I don't know what it's called. But this thing, I haven't seen too much use Coil. Again, if you start letting this thing get set up, for example, like Malamar, it will sweep you. Unless you have a special water type like Lapras. Water or grass type, one of the two. Another reason I'm packing this thing, but you know. Coil is a great set. It does have access to Gunk Shot, if I remember right. Earthquake, Stone Edge. Pretty decent mon, not too fast, but they can make it work. This thing is another wall. I was actually expecting the walls to take this. Usually you see this thing with Body Press, Cotton Guard. I don't know what else it can bring. You know what? I think that's half the fun, not knowing what they can bring. And finally, last but not least, Corn Cobs. I'm gonna be, you know what? I'm gonna be playing them in a couple of hours, so you guys are probably gonna see that video next. And I am going to take them as objective as possible. We got Venusaur. So right off the back, when I looked at the list for the teams, for the team matchups, this was one of the teams that stood out to me as a Sun team, which kind of claps my team. Let me actually pull that up for you guys while I'm going through this. We got ourselves Venusaur. Great Chlorophyll mon. It could be very thick. Could be a threat if it starts setting up growth or anything like that. I think they're going to bring this. This is one of the mons I really, really do think they're going to bring against me if they're going for a full Sun team. Next up, we got Heliolisk, which also does pretty well. Dry Skin, unfortunately, could counter my water types if they decide they want to counter my water types against them. Heliolisk hits pretty well, or pretty hard as well, especially with stuff like, I don't know, Specs Hyper Voice or Thunderbolt. If they decide to try to counter my water type, I think. Let me see. I do have that as one of the Pokemon I think they're gonna bring. We'll see though. I'm not 100% sure. I'm debating between this and what else was there. This thing, I really think it's more likely they'll bring Heliolisk though. Next up, we got ourselves... What do we got? We got ourselves Charizard. Charizard, again, is another great mon. It gets access to Solar Beam, Fire Blast. It could be physical or special. I've yet to see a Dragon Dance Charizard in Gen 8, but it could happen. This thing, I'm just scared if this thing is Scarfed. If I did not prepare for a Scarf for this thing, that would be very unfortunate. Lightbird is a great weather setter. It gets Rain Dance and it gets Sunny Day. I did not know, but that with Prankster could be insane. I'm looking more like a special Lightbird. I think they're going to bring this as well, just in case their Torkoal goes down, which I think they're going to bring as well, but who knows? Sudowoodo. Sudowoodo hits stupidly hard. It gets access to Sucker Punch, which could put a damper on my Crustal's sweep. Usually they bring Rockhead, or you would see Rockhead, so like Head Smash, Wood Hammer, stuff like that. Earthquake maybe, who knows. Mimikyu I'm not too scared about. I don't think they're going to bring it. Just because it looks more like a Sun team, even though this thing does clap up. Oh gosh, it claps up all my ghost types pretty well. Ugh. But I think they're going to bring Venusaur, honestly. If anything, I'm bringing Will-O-Wisp for this thing, so it shouldn't be too bad. Next up, we got our Sunsetter Torkoal. Torkoal, oh my gosh. Got Spin, Shell Smash. This thing is it's unfortunate. It enables their team. There's no way they're not bringing it without Heat Rock. It enables their Sun. So I gotta either bring something to counter that or a special mon to just pop this. Mudsdale. Mudsdale's another good Pokemon. It's great with physical attacks. So if I bring like Water Silvally, which I am bringing, this is going to be a threat. I was thinking of running Surf instead of Multi-Attack, but I think Multi-Attack might do a little bit more. As long as I don't let Stamina get set up, I'm thinking either Sudowoodo or Mudsdale is going to be brought. We'll see. Mudsdale's another great Pokemon against my team. Alolan Mr. Mime is a very underrated Pokemon. Alolan Galarian Mr. Mime is a very underrated Pokemon. It's a Eviolite monster. It's very fast. It gets pretty decent defenses with Eviolite. Screen Cleaner, gets Freeze Dry, Nasty Plot, Psychic, Rapid Spin. Not much else you can ask for in a Pokemon from NU. And then Leafeon, which you cannot see. Leafeon is another very big threat. I was looking around at Leafeon sets. I'm assuming they're going to bring this as well. So my picks are either Venusaur, definitely, Charizard, definitely, Leafeon, definitely, Heliolisk, definitely, and then either Mudsdale or Sudowoodo, and then Liepard or Torkoal. Or maybe both. Maybe I'm missing the Heliolisk. You know what? Let's go Torkoal and then Heliolisk Liepard. Yeah. But this thing is a monster. I really hope they don't bring X-Scissor. I'm expecting my Blossom to counter it, but if they bring X-Scissor, if I'm thinking maybe Leaf Blade or Solar Blade, Swords Dance. I don't know what else. What else does this run? Maybe an extra Sunny Day? I guess it does get X's or Double Edge. Who knows? And this thing is going to be a bit of a pain if they bring it. I think they will because of Chlorophyll. Like a lot of their mons have Chlorophyll. This is going to be a pain. But I do have some counters to it. I'm going to burn it and we'll see what's up. So looking at our team, we got ourselves our week 1 team. I'm going to quickly go through it. We got ourselves Furblazer, the Zorora, with Plasma Fist, Close Combat, Volt Switch, and Fire Punch. This setup of 200, 250, 256, and then plus speed, 0 investment. Make sure I outspeed everything on his team. I outspeed everything that's not Scarfed. Every single thing that's not Scarfed is outsped with a Jolly Nature. It kind of looks weird, but I did manage to set it up so I eat any hit at least once besides an Earthquake, and I do enough damage to pop just about everything. Next up, we got Coffin up the W. Definitely. We got ourselves a especially defensive one. I went with their set for this one. I was kind of curious on what exactly I would get. Body Press, Will-O-Wisp, Shadow Ball, and Pain Split, just in case I need to survive a little bit longer. Shadow Ball, specially hit if I run into a physical wall or a ghost type. Body Press, I have stupid defense. Like, check it out, 427? That's a lot of defense. And then Will-O-Wisp to break those physical attackers. Colbur Berry for that Liepard. On Furblazer, Assault Vest for Venusaur, for Heliolisk, for Charizard, for Torkoal. I think those 2 items are going to be my key ones here. I wasn't sure what to give Bell Awesome, really, so I made it a fast special sweeper. I gave it Strength Sap to break their physical walls. I'm counting on this thing to break Leafeon if they bring it. Leafeon, Mudsdale, and Sudowoodo are the 3 things this thing checks very, very well. Strength Sap, Moonblast. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to use Sleep Powder, and then Giga Drain. Leftovers, because I really didn't know what else to do with it. I was thinking about popping on Red Card, but I was like, if he hits me with a Mudsdale, do I really want to send him out with a Red Card? But, oh well. Next up, we got a Flyboy, which is a Silvally Water. It has multi-attack, defog. I don't want rocks in case Rocky Road comes in. That would break my sturdy, and that would put a huge damper on my plans. Multi-attack, defog, air slash, and flamethrower. It's a mixed one, mainly special, just because he has a lot of physical walls, and the flamethrower is boosted in the sun. So who knows? I was gonna run surf instead of multi-attack, but I was like, you know what? Multi-attack just might be a little bit stronger. But that is a fly. Boy, next up, Rocky Road. I could run heavy duty boots on this thing instead of White Herb, but I think my stats are a little bit more important here. Plus, I got a Flyboy to defog all rocks or all other hazards away before I send this thing in, so I'm not too worried. You got your conventional set with Shell Smash, Rock Slide, X Scissor, and Earthquake. Rocking out with a fast physical sweeper, everything goes into attack. Speed, just so I do outspeed his slower mons, maybe Torkoal. I think this thing will outspeed Torkoal and Sudowoodo. Who knows? If anything, Sudowoodo dies to an Earthquake. I'm going to be pulling up calcs during the battle, so y'all will see. And then finally, Fat. I think they expect me to bring this one and Dragapult. So I was like, you know what? Let's just bring this. Not Dragapult, let's leave it to Furblazer. And then Fat is just going to sit here. It'll be a tank. You give it max defense plus defense nature and only 4 spit def. Just to make sure you live any physical hit. You can Will-O-Wisp someone if you need to, and then you can start strength sapping them. That's also a very, very nice wall. Yeah, these are both very nice walls. Amnesia is a great play as well. Just to, you can't die. Once you start setting up Amnesia and you have strength sap enabled, you really can't die barring a crit or barring a knockoff to your Eviolite. Nightshade's there. I'm not going to be able to hit ghost types, but I'm counting on Will-O-Wisp to do damage if need be, and I'll strength sap. I don't expect this to be my last one. I might actually send it out first to get rocks, but who knows. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. That's my draft analysis. That's what exactly is going to go on. Next week it's going to be shorter since we don't have to go through this full thing again. But I hope you guys did enjoy. And I'm terrified for this battle. I think it's going to be a good one. I think I got an edge in it. I'm expecting a 2-0. I'm expecting Furblazer and a Fly, or maybe Rocky Road. Furblazer and Rocky Road to come out on top for me. But, because they won't see a Crustle coming, right? But with that being said, I'm out of here. Next week is going to be, or next video is going to be all 3 battles. So I hope you all stick around for that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments if you did make it that far. And with that being said, I'm out of here. Peace.